So this past Friday, Warframe had an update that brought a few interesting changes and additions to the game, and I want to go over some of the highlights that I found here, especially, you know, the weapons and all that. So let's go ahead and start with the Tileset Expansions, which pretty much is the best part about having a procedurally generated environment, is that they can always add to it bits at a time. Now, I've come across a few of the additions here, most of which were actually pretty large. Now, these are specific to the Grineer asteroid base and the Corpus planet outdoor tile sets, and have taken into account people's need to pretty much parkour off of everything, and even takes the opportunity to punish you if you're standing where you aren't supposed to be. I don't know if that's a bug, but if it is, just leave it in there, because you shouldn't be standing there, let's be honest. Now, the weapons, dual Vipers are in, and they are ridiculous. I already have a max single Viper, and even the fastest single click will fire off like 5 rounds. So how are these in comparison with the single Viper and the Aphurus dual machine pistols? Well, the single Viper has a much higher accuracy, and the Aphurus, which does slightly less damage and has a slower firing rates, at least has a much larger clip, allowing you to more easily manage your ammo reserves. So the accuracy of the dual Vipers takes a pretty significant hit, right? Giving it a, I guess we'll call it a usefulness range equivalent to the Hex Shotgun. Probably the best use you're gonna get from these, pairing them with a mid to long range primary weapon, allowing you to pull them out whenever something's in your face and needs to be burned down, which is exactly what they do. Couldn't really recommend these to someone who already has an Aphurus or a single Viper, but if you have an ammo max mod ranked pretty high, feel free to pick up a set. Now, a note about building these and other dual-wield sidearms. As always, like with everything, the blueprint can be picked up from the market for credits. In the Viper's case, 20,000 of them. It requires, okay, an Orokin cell and 2 Vipers. That's right, you have to build each gun first, then fuse them using this blueprint. And if you're building this from complete scratch, those individual blueprints cost 20,000 each, and require salvage, ferrite, nanospores, and morphics. So if you want drop locations, I'll put the link to the wiki down below. But yeah, dual wield weapon crafting is a bitch. I've done it, I'm telling you, it is a bitch. Next up, Ether Daggers and Duel Ether. These are 2 melee weapons added in this past patch, and they seem to be in-betweens for fangs and heat swords. Ether Daggers fire off 3 hits for every tap of the melee button, making it a bit easier to spam, but strangely enough, they don't ignore armor like every other dagger in the game. Now, they do stagger enemies, though, allowing you to more easily stay close, and while they don't technically strike multiple enemies in a cleaving motion, the fact that they hit several times per attack allow it to strike multiple enemies if they are, like, literally standing right next to each other. The bonus with these is that they do double damage to light infested. This would be runners, leapers, and basically everything you wouldn't want to be up close with anyways, but definitely not ideal for ancients. This is also where it differs from fangs, as they actually do 50% less damage to all infested. A good thing to note when thinking of making a purchase. Duel Ether, a short blade set, has a wide cleaving range and ignores armor, and it does triple damage to infested, the exception being ancients, where they just do normal damage. This essentially makes them probably the best all-around weapon available. Note that I mentioned all-around, as somebody like a rhino using a frag ore to toss packs of Grineer like a fat kid throwing a tantrum in a ball pit will obviously excel at doing just that. Whereas someone using Duel Ether would be capable of more quickly dealing bits of damage to several enemies at once. So if you don't already own a dual melee weapon, make this one your first, then later expand into more specialized sets like Fang, Heat Swords, and all that. Last thing I want to touch on is the buff to rifle mods. Holy shit, this is a night and day difference. I tweeted the other day about not picking up the Snipetron because the Lex is ultimately better in every way. Well, thanks to this change, I was able to actually dust it off, throw a few mods on, and get some serious work done. The problem before with rifle mods is that they didn't scale as well as pistol mods did, making them really great at first, but garbage once you realize that your Lotto was outperforming them in almost every area once modded. So this is definitely a welcome change and makes every rifle in the game much more powerful. This includes the Parrots. It's classified as a rifle for those you guys didn't know. And also, news flash for all of you guys who own Ember, who maybe put her away because you didn't really like the fact that she had 0 utility. They made a bunch of changes to her powers. Feel free to go and check the patch notes. I highly recommend it. You might want to go and dust off Ember, give her another run. I might have to go through and redo the crash course video for that, in which case you'll just see the link change in the playlist. I'll take care of that later, but I'm gonna go take it for a spin first to kind of see what they changed, because according to the list they gave us, it's pretty good. It looks pretty good on paper, of course. Thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to check out my crash course videos on every Warframe currently available. There are more to come. Mike V, aka Phony. I'll see you guys later.